relax, you're with us. Cruise Holidays of Viera.
Pull up a deck chair and sit back, relax. It's time for your favorite cruise hour. You're on board, just cruising. Whether you're dreaming of your first cruise or planning your next one, join Larry Jackson as he explores the magical world of cruising. To launch today's cruise, here's Larry Jackson.
Aloha, e komo mai, and welcome aboard. I'm Larry Jackson, owner of Cruise Holidays of Viera. I'm a Cruise Lines International Association designated elite cruise counselor and a Hawaii destination expert. Most importantly, though, I'll be your host for this week's video magazine that we call Just Cruising. And that's the magazine devoted to travel and cruising and all kinds of really fun things. And we're really glad you could join us today. On today's show, we're going to do a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to tell you about my 7 favorite things about the Oasis of the Seas. Now, these are going to be a little bit different than you see in the cruise lines brochures and the travel magazines and what they write up about the Oasis class. This is my personal things that I love about the Oasis of the Seas. I've been on her, I think around 9 times, 3 times in 2017 alone. So I had a lot of time to explore this ship, and she's really fascinating. I love her. So I'm going to tell you some a few sort of off the beaten path things that I love about the Oasis of the Seas. And then we're going to talk about the 10 things that people love about Hawaii and why they want to go there. And I want to share some of those with you because I have those same love of those same 10. I have a passion for those same 10 items about Hawaii. This week, tomorrow, on Saturday, January 20th, Linda and I will be flying down to Buenos Aires where we're going to be boarding the Celebrity Infinity, and we're going to be taking a 14-day South American Antarctic cruise. And so we're really looking forward to that, and we hope to have some reports for you very soon about our trip to Antarctica. We're not actually going to land in Antarctica. We're going to be cruising around, spending, I think it's 2 or 3 days just cruising around Antarctica, and then coming back up to Buenos Aires and flying home later on. So we'll be telling you about that. Also want to invite you to go to our webpage, which is viera.cruiseholidays.com. There's a lot of tremendous information up there. One of the most important things that's on our webpage that I think you'll find interesting is the specials, the escorted cruises that we're going to be doing in 2018 that we'd love to have you join us on. Especially the Celebrity Edge on December 9th from Fort Lauderdale. This is going to be a completely unique, remarkable, brand new type of cruise ship. And I think you will enjoy being one of the first on your blog to actually say that they got to enjoy this magnificent new celebrity offering called the Edge. On our webpage, we have the information about our inaugural cruise on December 9th. And we also have 2 videos there that will take you on a short tour of the ship so you can decide if you'd like to come and join us. So if you go to the webpage, the information's there. You can send us an email, or you can actually register for the cruise right on our webpage. Also invite you to look at some of the other specials and the information that we have on our webpage. It's all up to date. It's kept current. Whether you're interested in how to get a passport, if you want to see reviews of all the different cruise ships, all of those things are there on our webpage, and that's viera.cruiseholidays.com. Well, let's get started by looking at 7 of the many reasons that I love the Oasis of the Seas. I guess we could consider this my 7 top reasons that I like the Oasis of the Seas. Okay, number 1 is Port Canaveral, her home port. If you have not cruised on the Oasis of the Seas out of Port Canaveral, you are in for a treat. What we've done, and I can say that because I live in Melbourne, which is right next door to Port Canaveral, what we've done at Port Canaveral is created a terminal. It's named Terminal 1, and it is a masterpiece in embarkation and disembarkation efficiency. For one thing, it's one of the few piers in the world, or the few ports in the world, where we can disembark passengers at the same time we're embarking passengers, because the way they design the terminal, they have a way to separate people so that they don't get mixed up in customs. So that allows us to get on the ship much faster and much more efficiently than we do at other cruise terminals. It has a great parking lot, But the best part about Port Canaveral and the terminal here are the people that man it. They're all from our local area here. Most of them have been doing it for many, many years, and it's just a wonderful experience. The last couple of times I've been on the Oasis of the Seas, as Diamond members, we were able to board at about 11:05, 11:10. The rest of the passengers were getting on board by about 11:15. So a.m. in the morning, all right? And with the walk-off, they begin the walk-off disembarkation. That's where you carry your own luggage. You don't go down to customs and pick it up. They begin that at about 6:30 a.m. The last time I did that, I was standing in my car in the parking lot before 7 a.m. So both ends of getting on and off the Oasis of the Seas are delightful, and that's because of her home port at Port Canaveral. Number two reason that I love Oasis of the Seas are the alternative restaurants, the alternative dining, but most especially, I love one really great restaurant, and that's 150 Central Park. It is magnificent. It's small. It's right there on Central Park. When you walk in, you're not going to see all that many tables. There are no booths there. And it's got a modest cover charge. I think it's like $45 or $50. I don't care. You're going to get a $150 per person meal, so forget whatever it costs. It is spectacular. Just some of the unique things about the 150 Central Park. First of all, when you walk in, and you're seated and you have drinks and everything, they bring you some bread and butter, and then they bring you 6 little dishes of salt. And that sounds a little weird, but it's a salt tasting. And your waiter explains to you where all the salts came from, what all the different flavors are. And it's really a lot of fun. Very unique, especially if you're dining with people that you don't know that well. I suggest you go there with a group 4 to 6 people. It's a lot more fun. Their menu is spectacular. They do some of the most phenomenal dishes and some of the most unusual dishes, and it's all magnificently prepared, really, really well done, and I think you'll like it. I've had almost every dish on the menu, and they are all great. Even the salads and things like that are really, really good. So, again, 150 Central Park, which is one of the alternative restaurants there on Central Park on the Oasis of the Seas. I heartily recommend that you go there. Number 3 reason that I like sailing on the Oasis of the Seas is that right now Royal Caribbean is offering 30% off of all the guests, and that's going through January 31st. So it's a great reason to book your cruise right now on the Oasis of the Seas, especially if you're taking a family. 30% off everybody is a significant savings, and you need to be taking advantage of it. Number 4 reason why I love cruising on the Oasis of the Seas. During the wintertime, now this doesn't occur on every sailing, it doesn't occur on every week, but often Royal Caribbean offers something on the Oasis of the Seas called a balcony guarantee. Now what this means is that you're going to have an ocean-facing balcony. Now remember, on the Oasis class ships, some of the balconies face into Central Park or Boardwalk, and most of them face out to the ocean in the traditional cabin that you're used to. What Royal Caribbean has been doing, and they just offer this for a little bit, then when the cabins sell out, they don't offer it anymore. This balcony guarantee tells you that you're going to get a balcony, ocean-facing balcony on the Oasis, and you will not know the exact stateroom number until just before sailing. That's not a problem, because every balcony on the Oasis of the Seas is great. There are no bad balconies. There's no obstructions. There's no things in the way of your balcony, because what they did on this ship was that they located the lifeboats on deck 5, adjacent to where the running track is, the jogging track, and the restaurant, so it doesn't obscure any views from any staterooms. Now, what's so great about this balcony guarantee? The pricing. I'll just give you one that I pulled up yesterday. This is on a sailing for the March 25th sailing from here at Port Canaveral. Total cost for a balcony with the 30% off that they're offering right now and the balcony guarantee is $2,096. That's $1,021 per person. That's a phenomenal price. The $2,096 is about what we pay for one person in a balcony cabin during the high season of June and July. So balcony guarantees, again, they're not there all the time, but call your travel agent or call us at Cruise Holidays of Viera, 321-242-1331 if you're in Florida, toll free 866-291-1331. And then we'll keep you apprised of what's going on with these balcony guarantees on the Oasis of the Seas. Number 5 reason I like to sail on Oasis of the Seas is the art collection known as Small Wonders. Now, Small Wonders occur all over the ship. They're actually on all 16 decks. They range from little pedestals that you look into. They look like the old, remember the Viewmasters we used to have with the double, the 3D images, and we used to put them up and click. That's what some of them look at. Some of them look like a telescope that's been put down on the floor, and you look down into it. And each one, there is a different piece of art in them. And there's actually, how many? 46 of them on the ship, and they're hidden all over the place. And they're fun to look for as you go around. Some of them are really obscure places. But what you can do is you can go down to customer services and ask them for a listing of all of the Small Wonders. And then you can have fun during your 7 days on the Oasis of the Seas. And if you're with your family, the kids can do it too, challenging them to find all 42 of the collection of the Small Wonders. It's really a lot of fun. And the artwork is kind of cool too. So that's number 6. Oh, number 5. Number 6 reason I love the Oasis of the Seas, and that's the DreamWorks Parade. This is done once each cruise. It's done on the promenade deck, and that's the deck where all the, where Sorrento's is and the pub and things like that. Now you have to, when you see the parade's going to be there, be sure and get there at least an hour early. And where I like to watch the parade from are the tables out in front of the pub. And so you got to get there early and get a table. And then the parade comes. And what's so much fun about this parade, it looks a lot like the Disney parades that you see at Epcot and Magic Kingdom and things like that, with one big difference. All of the cast members are crew members on your ship, and they have the greatest time. They have so much fun being Shrek or Fiona or one of the zebras from Madagascar or the lion, and they come parading, and Kung Fu Panda, and they parade down the promenade there. It's small, it's intimate, everybody's close together there. It is so much fun, and so I highly recommend the DreamWorks Parade when you cruise on the Oasis of the Seas. Number 7 reason, final reason why I love to cruise on the Oasis of the Seas, and that's Larry's secret deck. Okay, I'm going to let you in on a secret about a deck. This deck occurs on deck 14 forward, and you can only access this deck from the port side of the ship. You can't access it from the starboard side. So what you do is if you get off the forward elevators on deck 14, go to the starboard side and press on forward. On the right-hand side, you're going to see, I think, the kid zones and things like that. But there's a door all the way at the forward, all the way at the bow of the ship. And you go out on that deck, and there's a whole deck. There's nothing there but deck chairs, 2 telescopes that you can use to look at things when you're coming into the port. But it is a great place to watch either sailways or when you're coming into port. You are actually, I believe it's 1 deck above the bridge and 1 deck below the solarium, but you have a beautiful unencumbered view of the whole front of the ship and off the bow of the ship. Great place to take photos or videos if you'd like to do that. So just to recap very quickly, my 7 reasons that I love, that Larry Jackson loves the Oasis of the Seas. Number 1, Port Canaveral. Number 2, the restaurant at 150 Central Park. Number 3, 30% off all the guests right now. Number 4, balcony guarantees. 5, looking for the Small Wonders art. Number 6, the DreamWorks Parade. And number 7, Larry's secret deck on deck 14. So I hope you enjoyed our little look at the Oasis of the Seas. She is so much fun. I mean, there's probably 50 other reasons that I love to cruise on this ship, but you'll have to explore those on your own. And I do want to remind you that each week, Just Cruising is brought to you by Cruise Holidays of Vieira. We are a boutique vacation planning store, and we're located here in Florida, but we're accessible to you all over the world, and we have clients all over the world. And we're accessible to you via our webpage, vieira.cruiseholidays.com, via our toll-free number, 866-291-1331. And why would you care about all of that contacting us? Because we want you to experience what true vacation planning service is all about. We are a small boutique vacation planning store, and that means we have the time and the energy to devote towards your vacation planning. And we also are Hawaii destination experts, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show. And that means that you, whether you're going to Hawaii for a 7-day cruise or a 7-day kickback on the beach, we lived there for over 26 years, and we'll be glad to assist you in planning your Hawaiian vacation. So please give us a call or contact us. Also, I do want to remind you that if you are watching us on YouTube, you can also get our show via podcast on either iTunes, SoundCloud, or Google Play and Stitcher Radio. All of that's available if you'd like to hear our podcast. And we also invite you to subscribe to our Just Cruising YouTube page. But there's a red button over there, and click that and put your email in there, and you'll be subscribed. Be sure and hit the little telephone bell there so that we'll send you an alert every time we post a Just Cruising show. All right, let's look at 10 reasons, the top 10 reasons to visit Hawaii. I don't know if this is the top 10, but this is 10 of my favorites, so let's talk about them. Each year in Hawaii, there are about 8 million people go there. 60% of them come from the U.S. mainland. And on average, they spend between 9 and 10 days in the islands, and they spend $14 billion there. As I mentioned, my lovely and gracious wife, Lynda, and I lived in Hawaii for a long time. Lynda went there as a University of Minnesota co-ed, went there for a summer, came home, experienced one of those Minnesota winters, and right after she graduated, she moved to Hawaii, where she raised a family and lived there for 30 years. I went to Hawaii as a member of the U.S. Air Force as a pilot, fell in love with it, stayed there when I got out of the Air Force to stay there, and I lived there for 26 years. We both have family that are still living in Hawaii. Our grandchildren live there, and we have a whole bunch of family. We have family on every island except Lanai, and we go back every year, and we take a cruise tour, an 11-day cruise tour that we host for 20 lucky folks that get to go back to Hawaii with us every year. And I'll tell you, while I'm thinking about that, we're planning our next one for January 2nd of 2019. That'll be our next 11-day Hawaii cruise tour. And if you'd like more information about that, just go to our webpage, viera.cruiseholidays.com. Up in the right-hand corner, it says About Us. There's an email address. Click that and say, Larry, I'm interested when you get your details about your 2019 Hawaii cruise tour. Everything's not been put together yet because we can't do the airfare and some other things that we're trying to do. So if you'd like to be on our list to get information about our tour when we get all of it finalized, send us an email up there, or you can just email askthetravelguy at Gmail, askthetravelguy, G-U-Y, at gmail.com. All right, let's talk about the top 10 reasons to go to Hawaii. Number one, the weather. Everybody asks me, what's the best time of the year to go to Hawaii because of the weather? Well, there really isn't. The winters tend to be a little bit rainier. The summer tends to be a little bit drier, but we're talking about very little differences between the two. The temperature does not vary more than 5 or 6 degrees on the high and more than maybe 8 or 9 degrees on the low. The coldest I ever saw temperature at sea level on Oahu was 58 degrees. A normal day in Hawaii is a high of 82 degrees and a low of somewhere around 68 to 70 degrees. It's ideal weather. The other great thing about the weather in Hawaii is they have something called the trade winds. And the trade winds are a northeasterly wind that blows about 10 to 15 miles an hour all day long. And what that does is that provides a natural air conditioning for the islands, which blows the humidity away and just keeps it very, very pleasant. Except for the high rises in Waikiki and things like that, there's very little air conditioning in Hawaii and no heating. The other great thing that the trade winds do, they bring moisture in from the ocean. The clouds rise when they hit the mountains, and there's mountains on every island. They rise in elevation. When they get to a certain elevation, the temperature drops and it rains. So almost all the rain falls on the mountains. And what little rain is left on these clouds as they pass over as the winds blow them over the islands, moves very quickly. So it rarely settles in, and you have a rainy day. You always have what we call in Hawaii passing showers. And in Hawaii, passing showers, if you get rained on, that's considered a blessing, a sign of good luck. So the weather in Hawaii is phenomenal. It's wonderful almost all the time. Number 2 reason to go to Hawaii, and that's the people. Tourism is the major industry, almost the only industry in Hawaii now that agriculture is pretty much gone. And the people of Hawaii practice what's known as the aloha spirit. And I did not know this, but it's actually a law in Hawaii that all citizens and government officials are obligated by law to conduct themselves in accordance with the aloha spirit. I actually looked this up. It is in the Hawaii Register of Revised Statutes, Chapter 5. And here's what it says. Aloha spirit is the coordination of mind and heart within each person. It brings each person to the self. Each person must think and emote good feelings to others in the contemplation and presence of life force. These are traits of character that express the charm, warmth, and sincerity of Hawaii's people. Aloha is more than a word of greeting or farewell or a salutation. Aloha means mutual regard and affection and extends warmth and caring with no obligation in return. Aloha means to hear what is not said, to see what cannot be seen, and to know the unknowable. Isn't that beautiful? Now, that is truly the way the people of Hawaii are. You know why the people of Hawaii practice this aloha spirit? Not just because of tourism. It's because there are no majorities in Hawaii. And that brings me to another point about the people and the cultures of Hawaii. And so everybody in a small area with a lot of folks, there's over like 1.2 million people living there in this small area, has to learn how to get along together, and that's where the aloha spirit really comes about. Okay, number 3 reason I like to visit Hawaii is the cultures. And what Hawaii is such a unique blending melting pot of the world. It started obviously with the Polynesians coming via canoes from Tahiti, or Micronesia, we're pretty sure. Second came the haoles, or the explorers, the whalers. Then came the missionaries. They planted sugarcane, and they needed workers for their sugarcane fields, so they brought Japanese immigrants in. And they worked the cane fields, but as always happens with Hawaii cultures and people, as they came, they assimilated into the culture of Hawaii. They then became shopkeepers and doctors and dentists and professors and things like that. So we needed some more people to come in and work the fields, and then the Chinese came in. And again, they assimilated, they moved up in the rung of the ladders of the culture. And so we needed some more folks in Hawaii to work the agriculture, and the Filipinos came in. They were followed by the islanders, Samoans, along the way, Mexicans and Spanish. Folks came to be paniolos, or cowboys, to work the ranches in Hawaii. And then World War II brought in a huge influx of even more white people, known as haoles, in Hawaii. All these people came together, and they brought each of their cultures. And it almost 25% of the population of Hawaii claim their ancestry of 2 or more races. And I'll tell you about my granddaughter as an example. Her name is Kaya. Her grandmother, Linda, is Norwegian and Irish, and she married a Filipino person, and now her son married a Japanese girl. So Kaya is part Japanese, she's part Filipino, she's part Norwegian, she's part Irish. And all of those things blend together. And each person, each of the cultures, brings some positive thing from their culture together. And it's all celebrated in Hawaii. And that's what's so fascinating about Hawaii, is all of these cultures coming together and getting along and celebrating each other and taking a little, hey, I like that part of your culture, I'm going to incorporate that with mine. And it is truly a blending of people getting together. It's magnificent to see. Number 4 reason to go to Hawaii is the history. As I mentioned, some of the history about what happened with agriculture and how folks came in. But the fascinating thing about Hawaii is that before the year 1778, Hawaiians had never seen iron. They had never seen white people. They had never seen gunpowder. They had never seen a Bible. They had never heard of God as we know the Christianity or Judaism or even Muslim. They didn't have any contact with people. And what evolved from that is fascinating to see. Then you add in everybody else's history comes in from the basically in the 1820s, the missionaries began arriving from New England less than 100 years after the islands were unified by Kamehameha I. He did that in 1795. He brought all of the major islands together under one monarchy. Hawaii lived under a monarchy until it was overthrown in 1896, which was a very sad part of the history of Hawaii. And you can learn that when you go with us on our cruise tour because we take you to Iolani Palace. Then Hawaii was a republic. It was annexed as a republic in 1898 by the United States. The attack on Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941, established Hawaii as a major military presence in the Pacific. And in 1959, it became the 50th state of the Union. And all of this history is captured there for you in Hawaii. Number 5 reason, and what we're doing here on Just Cruising, in case you're just joining us, we're covering the top 10 reasons to go to Hawaii. Number 5 are the beaches. Hawaii has 750 miles of shoreline and 400 named beaches, and almost all of them are public. I can only think of 3 that are private in all of the islands. There is every color of sand beach that you could possibly want in Hawaii: white, yellow, black sand beaches on the Big Island, red sand beaches on Maui, and green sand beaches on the Big Island. One of the things I do caution, if you're going to Hawaii, you need to be aware of the ocean conditions, and the best way to do that, be aware, is to go to beaches where there are lifeguards, and there are tons of them, so you don't have to worry about not being able to find a beach. But the lifeguards will have warnings about especially things like high surf and that sort of thing, which can be dangerous. Okay, number 6 reason to go to Hawaii, one of my favorites, is the volcanoes. Each of the Hawaiian Islands was formed as a lava rock, basically, because the islands were located over what they call a hot spot. And this is a hole in the ocean where magma from the earth comes up. The hole there in the ocean stays steady. But what's happened is the plates, the tectonic plates, move over this hole. And as the plate is over the island, or over the hole, lava dwells up from the ocean and creates these islands. And then pretty soon, once the islands form, it drifts on and a new island is formed. And right now, we have one that's forming off the northeast of the Big Island. Volcanoes are also the reason Hawaii is the only state in the Union that's getting bigger geographically. Every year it adds 40 or 60 acres from flows of the volcanoes erupting at Kilauea on the Big Island. It's the longest recorded continuous volcano eruption. It began in 1982 and it continued, 1983, and it continues to today, and you can actually see it. One of the things we do when we take our cruise tour of Hawaii, when we cruise out of Hilo, we go around the island and we actually at night and see the lava flowing into the ocean. It's really tremendous. You can actually go right up to the volcano, to the Halemaumau crater on the Big Island of Hawaii at Hilo. And our new island is called Loihi. And in about 1 million years from now, you'll be able to walk on the island. Not very much of it, but maybe a few acres. And it's being formed down at the 14,000 foot depth out in the ocean. Volcanoes it is so much fun to go see them, walk in lava tubes, all kinds of cool things to do with volcanoes. Okay, number 7 reason for going to Hawaii is the ocean. I don't care what you like to do on the ocean, even if it's just to cruise around the islands, it's fun in Hawaii. You can also scuba, you can snorkel, you can surf, you can boogie board, you can take whale watches, you can go out on zodiacs. the reef fish in Hawaii are magnificent, beautiful. There are green sea turtles. There are even monk seals. And of course, they have sharks. But the ocean is in Hawaii. And Hawaii is very unique in that its coastline has a very severe drop-off because the islands are just mountains in the ocean. So, for instance, in Florida, you have to go out several miles before you can begin deep sea fishing because the sea's not deep. In Hawaii, you only have to go about a mile offshore, and it drops down to 10 or 11, 12,000 feet. So it's very unique. The ocean's very unique from that standpoint that you can be fishing in just a few minutes off the coast. Maybe this is my favorite reason to go to Hawaii, and that's the food. Remember how I told you how all the cultures came together? Well, everybody brought their food. And we have some of the most amazing restaurants, whether it's Japanese, Chinese, Filipino, Hawaiian. Hawaiian food is magnificent, too. A few years ago, in 1991, a bunch of the chefs, the local chefs in Hawaii, got together, and they established what they call Hawaii Regional Cuisine. I call it Asian fusion. And that's where people bring a little piece of Hawaii and a little piece of Japan, and they put it on something Filipino. And it creates the most unbelievable and magnificent dishes that you'll have anywhere in the world. But I love Hawaiian food. I love Filipino food. I love Japanese. All of these things come together in Hawaii. And you never have a lack of variety of all these wonderful places to eat in Hawaii. Number 9 reason I like to go to Hawaii is the music. And the music is so unique. Again, all these cultures brought something with their music. It started back with the Hawaiians, with the hula, with the chants, and the Hawaiians used the chants to communicate their genealogy, their history. This is how they passed it down from history to history. The hula, which we think was probably used as kind of a warm-up or an exercise to get ready for war and to get everybody psyched up for war. If you can imagine rushing out of a field with a bunch of wooden clubs, that was war in old Hawaii. It went on through some of the contributions that Hawaii has made to music in the world. The slack key guitar, which has become even more popular now with some of the more modern artists. The steel guitar was brought to the world by Hawaii and made a big dent on country music, and even down to the newest fads, Hawaiian, which is kind of a combination of reggae and Hawaiian. Every year in Hawaii, they have all kinds of festivals. One of the most magnificent ones is the Merry Monarch Festival, which is a hula. It's kind of like the Super Bowl of hula on the Big Island in Hilo. It's so funny. I tell people, boy, during the Merry Monarch Festival, the last evening on Saturday night, everybody in Hawaii is glued to their television to watch the hula competition because it was huge and you didn't want to miss it. And everybody talked about the Merry Monarch the next day. Can't tell you enough about the music of Hawaii. I could do hours with you on the history and everything about the music of Hawaii. Again, if you go with us on our cruise tour, we'll introduce you to that. All of those things to make sure you have a great understanding of the Hawaiian music. Finally, number 10 reason is the geography. No Hawaiian island is like any other. Kauai is lush and green. They have the amazing cliffs of the Napali coast, which is one of the things we see when we sail out on the Pride of America when we do our cruise tour. Kauai also has the Waimea Canyon, which has been called the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. What a beautiful place in the morning to see when the sun's coming up and the clouds are coming across and the birds are flying through Waimea Canyon, the reds, the greens. It is really spectacular. On Oahu, we have Diamond Head, which you can climb, Hanauma Bay, which is a magnificent snorkeling beach. It's an old crater, and one wall of the crater washed out or eroded, and so the ocean comes in, so it creates this like giant fishbowl. And that's Hanauma Bay. On Maui, we visit the Iao Valley, and we go up to Haleakala at 10,000 feet. It's an extinct volcano crater, and from up there, we think it's the largest volcanic crater in the world. The colors, the views that you get up on Maui at Haleakala. Haleakala means the house of the sun. Beautiful, nothing like it in the world. On Hawaii, the Big Island, we have from Waipio Valley, where you descend 2,000 feet on horseback, to watching the lava flow into the ocean. All of these things are there for you in Hawaii. Well, I hope you have enjoyed our top 10 reasons for you to visit Hawaii. Again, we have a passion for it. By the way, when we open our show, one of the things I ask you, or I tell you, is a komo mai, and that means welcome in Hawaiian. And so we hope that you've enjoyed our show today, our 7 reasons for cruising with on the Oasis of the Seas, our 10 best reasons for going to Hawaii. We hope you'll come back again and see us the next time we post to Just Cruising here on YouTube, or you can join us on our podcast at iTunes or Google Play or any of those folks. And we hope you'll give us a call at Cruise Holidays of the Year and let us show you what retro service is all about and how magnificent and how easy it can be to plan a vacation that will be truly a memory of a lifetime, not just another kickback vacation, but truly a memory of a lifetime. And that's what we're going to plan for you. Thanks again for joining us. Until we see you again, keep on cruising. Jackson of Just Cruising. Hope you're enjoying Just Cruising here on YouTube. If you'd like to keep up to date on all the videos that we'll be producing here in the near future, all you have to do is click the subscribe button just below my picture here, or you can click right over here for a list of the latest videos. Either way, we look forward to seeing you again. Until we do, keep on cruising.